Visit Snap Fitness in Grand Island for all of your workout needs. State-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers will help you reach the exercise and health goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Stolly Park Road in Grand Island.
All right, welcome to In the Hoop. George Ayoub with Bobby Mills, Elisa Reitz. Happy St. Patty's.
And happy St. Patty's to everybody.
Mills and Ayoub. Actually, I am half Irish.
That's right.
We're off on the wrong tangent already. This is our last In the Hoop for the year.
It is.
We're going to talk about the Boys State basketball tournament, the results, and then after the break and a word from Snap Fitness, we're going to talk a little bit about the season. So you spent a little time at the press table.
Yeah.
Read your tweets, and really a lot of them. 7 overtime games and 9 or 10 overtime periods total. So it was really a lot of contested games.
Talk about getting your money's worth.
Right.
First thing I was impressed with was Pinnacle Sports or Pinnacle Bank Arena. Everything was just right.
Right.
The help was great. The seating was great. It's so it's fan friendly. I didn't hear one negative word about that place.
That's
except
great.
Maybe one somebody was hot or too cold. But what a great place.
Terrific.
And they even had to open up that second.
Right, they did.
For that the Class A games on Friday. What a great thing.
Yeah.
It's I don't know.
Friday was really a terrific set of games on Friday. So our area teams, Donovan Trumbull takes Bergen, the eventual champions in C2, to the wire.
Yep.
Loses it in an overtime game, a bit of a controversial call.
Yep.
On they called it an intentional foul.
Yeah.
They lose at 58-55. They come back and they beat Freeman in the third place game.
They did.
Smoked them.
Yeah, got a nice basketball team.
I'll talk a little bit more about third place games in the second half of the show here. And then Spalding, they end up fourth in Class D2. And so we are also represented, of course, by Grand Island Northwest. Played Elkhorn South. One of the big upsets of the tournament was South took care of business against the Vikings.
Yep.
Come out and Scott beats them.
Yep.
And then Scott goes on and wins the championship. How surprised were you at that in that Class B bracket?
I thought Scott matched up well with Elkhorn South. Those two kids that look like their name is Buddha, it's Boda, but they had a lot of trouble getting inside on those two big kids. And one's a sophomore, but I didn't think they matched up well. And Bell West, Scott had won the game earlier, I think February 3rd or something like that. And I thought Scott might get him this time. Matt Fisher was not on the first 2 days, and I don't know, everything pointed to a Scott victory, to me anyway.
Yeah, well, I like Scott going in as somewhat of his dark horse, but I thought, they were going to be tough in the tournament.
Yep, they are.
They were playing well at the end of the year.
Oh, boy.
And that was, that's what you need to be doing.
And take heed, people who are filling out March Madness brackets.
Yeah. By the way, Stephen Austin, I love him in the opening round over VCU.
Yes, there's a good one.
Another tangent.
Yeah.
You called Newman, and they were really up to the task.
Wow.
Put the ball in the basket, and they get the job done, really. Just kind of breezed through that.
They did. Yeah. But what a great thing for Wahoo. The town of Wahoo.
Newman and Wahoo, of course, played in the championship game.
Yeah.
That was great.
And it was, Newman's just so, they have everything. And the offensive rebounds, there's always somebody to clean it up and put it back. They're just an amazing team.
Yeah, terrific win for them.
Yep.
In Class A, Bellevue West and Westside, of course, play for the championship. And the game was kind of up and down, and then it obviously went to overtime, and Bellevue West wins it by 6 in overtime. But it was interesting that the big dogs that we think of in Class A were Benson South and maybe Central, having a bit of an off year.
Yep.
And then Norfolk, won that opening round game in 3 overtimes, longest game in Nebraska history since, I think it was 27.
Wow.
Or 24. The score of that one was 11-7, 3 overtimes. Defensive struggle. Yeah. Anyway, it was kind of refreshing to see 2 new teams in there.
It was.
And Bellevue West, of course, a long tradition of basketball power, So
that was a great thing.
You saw that game, and it was an up and down game.
Yeah, it was, and I still like how that Malik Kaluchawecki came through. What an athlete. He could probably get a scholarship in football, basketball, or track, you know. Just a guy that's 6'10", high jumpers, glue hands as a receiver in football, and he came through when it mattered, you know, and that, boy, it was great.
Really was a gamer, and I think that's what it took down the stretch for Bellevue West. So the Thunderbirds get it done in Class A. Should mention Randolph, of course, champions in Class D1, and Bancroft-Rosalie 62-47 over High Plains, which really surprised me. I thought High Plains would put more points on the board because they've been a high-scoring team all year.
I had a couple of radio people from up in that area that came and kind of got on my case a little bit for not recognizing Bancroft-Rosalie during the season. And it was just a mystery to a lot of us, like Ainsworth was.
Exactly.
You just don't know.
Yeah. And of course, Ainsworth gets to the C2 finals.
Oh, man.
And pushes Bergen.
What a team.
They win that game in overtime, Bergen does, by a deuce.
Yeah, and Bancroft-Rosalie's the real deal. And I didn't realize they had that staunch a defense. So,
I watched that game on television, and that's what I thought is the defense really for Bancroft-Rosalie really came to play. And they had some kids that could put the ball in the hoop, obviously, but I thought they really kind of frustrated the high-powered High Plains offense.
That's exactly right. You know, you don't know whether to play man-to-man or zone against them on offense, and you can't penetrate on it. They impressed me, and they just could. High Plains didn't match up well.
So Bancroft-Rosalie gets it done. Don't pick on Bobby. You know, he was doing the best he could.
Yeah, I tried, but I had to kind of laugh at it a little bit, and they kind of poked me when they walked by. But that's all right.
So those are your champions: Bellevue West, Omaha Skutt, Bishop Neumann from Wahoo, Fremont Bergen in C2, Randolph in D1, and Bancroft-Rosalie in D2. Your champions for this year's Boys State High School Championships in basketball. We'll be back after a word from Snap Fitness, and we're going to talk a little bit about the season and some observations. So we'll be right back.
What's the most centrally located gym in Grand Island? Try Snap Fitness, a 24/7 gym that's loaded with state-of-the-art equipment from Cybex for both strength and cardio. Located at 217 East Stolly Park Road in Grand Island.
We're back with In the Hoop. Bobby Meals, George Ayoub, Elisa Reitz, who just berated us for not wearing green here on St. Patrick's Day.
Can't blame her.
March 17th. All right. So, anyway, we're going to talk about the season as a whole here, Bobby. And one of the things, that one of the big observations I saw is that the Northwest girls, right out of the chute, defending state champions, get smacked down by a good Norris team.
I know.
Then they lose later in the year to Holdridge, But I tell you, that group of seniors, led by Mackenzie Brown, Katie Plocky, Sorhan, Kennedy Keyser, Aaron Sorhan, Kennedy, and there's some other girls, and I apologize if I'm leaving the names out, but what a tough-minded group of kids.
They don't always turn to Kinsey Brown for. A lot of times they do, but they're just such an even keel. You can tell the close-knitness among that group.
Absolutely. And although Mackenzie, obviously was their leading scorer, broke the school record in the championship game. The thing I loved about that team, and I saw it a lot in volleyball, but it's more particular in basketball, is they played together as a team. They looked for the open man. They ran offense. They played tough defense. They were an enjoyable team to watch.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah. They never.
If you like basketball, that's a team to watch.
It is, and you have to credit Mike Hersberg because he gives those girls the green light to shoot the tray. And when it wasn't working in that state finals, they started to penetrate to the hoop. Yeah. And Minden didn't do that.
They adjusted.
Some teams cannot adjust. Right. We're coming at you, but. That's a great group, and we'll really miss watching them.
And from all indications, a great group off the court too. And they're a good group to root for.
That's a good point. Also,
they got it done. A couple other things. I thought that the C1 and C2 boys, in particular this year, was really powerful. Both classes had a lot of great teams.
They did a lot of them. And C2 stayed home, but C1, of course, is always tough. But C2 sometimes the red-haired stepchild of all the classes, but not this year.
Yeah.
So terrific athletes, and look at the Hastings St. Cecilia.
Right.
They had to stay home.
And that's one of the better teams throughout the year.
Yep, I know, and it's just one of those things that happens.
Ravenna was a team that went out and lost by a point to Kimball. So, C1 and C2, like you say, C1 is usually loaded, but C2 this year really stepped up and interestingly enough, I think it's more likely C2 teams schedule a lot of C1 teams.
Oh, they do, yeah.
And more so than C1 teams schedule Bs. And I think that really pays off because when they get the they're hardened. They're ready to go.
Yeah, they are. And that's what St. Cecilia, what Kevin Asher thought that would do to their schedule, but it ended up being their downfall by a thousandth of a point or something.
I know, and I don't know if the NSAA has to look at that or not, but you schedule one or two classes above you, and play a tough team. I don't know. It ends up hurting you more often than not. But I think in the end, all math aside, I think it gets the kids ready for tournament time.
They do, and they're young, George, so they'll be back.
Yeah. St. Cecilia, one of the teams we're going to be looking for in the future. Of course, Bergen wins C2 against an Ainsworth team we didn't know a lot about, but just top to bottom, Battle Creek, Kimball, Freeman, Donovan, Trumbull, Sutton, Bergen, of course, in Southern Valley, who came out and beat Central Catholic, shorthanded here at Tino's tournament. So throughout that class, a lot of good teams. So
nothing wrong with Battle Creek either. Look at their record, but it sure doesn't reflect what kind of a team that was.
Then I also locally, I thought that it was really great to see the resurgence of Heartland Lutheran High School basketball, particularly on the girls' side.
Yes.
They won more games than they have in a long time, perhaps forever.
Yep.
And just really a great spirit out there at that small school. They're playing D1 basketball now, and so props to them. They just had a great year out at Heartland Lutheran.
Yeah, I'm like you. I'm pretty happy with the girls program. They've been down for so long, and now they're getting it back up. Of course, Lloyd's always got the boys up out there. But Jiminy Christmas is great to see.
Fun to watch, and we always do a game out there.
Fun. Yeah,
and it's
somebody's whistling at me.
It's a great team. It's a great. They're fun to watch. Of course, the boys up and down, a lot of shooting, but girls play hard, and it's a great atmosphere out there. So.
And we love being there, don't we?
Yeah, we do. We really do. Elisa doesn't like it because they make her stay in the hallway. She can't really.
She can't see the game.
What's going on? Any thoughts? Any observations from your side?
Here's what I think that the biggest thing I saw this year throughout the state was the youth movement. Mm-hmm. I never saw so many freshmen. You look down the girls' rosters at state, and freshman girls are mature enough to play, but the boys, 2 for SCOTUS. Scottsbluff has 2. Wahoo Newman has 2, and these kids
Norfolk had 2.
Norfolk
Class A.
6.
You don't really see a lot of Class A freshmen.
Yeah, Logan Strom with these 19-inch shoes, and that's incredible. What kind of teams are they going to be when they down the road?
And Norfolk, aside from St. Cecilia, Norfolk's one of those teams I think next year. But right here in Grand Island, I think Central Catholic's going to really be stout.
They will.
They're going to lose some leaders out there. In Phoenix Stevenson.
Right. Somebody has to take the reins,
Riley Allen.
Yeah.
Or Alex Allen.
Yeah, that's a good,
But I have to tell you, I really think they're going to, if they stay healthy, that's going to be a good group.
I think it will. I think it's going to be exciting to see who the new basketball coach is at senior high.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody has an idea right now. That's what makes it exciting.
Yeah, that'll be a fun thing to follow, too. So, NSAA is going to be voting on whether or not to continue the third-place games, and I know where my vote would be.
Me too.
And, it's a credit to the kids. They come out the next day after all those losses, are difficult things to do, and they get over. And coaches sometimes like it. It's a nice springboard.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if the value of that. If you want to have 2 games, then play a double elimination tournament.
Yeah.
Increase it a day, play a double elimination tournament.
Some states do that. Oregon's one of them. But
they do. Because, half the field's going to get 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
Going to get 2 games in. So, I don't know. Just from my observation, I don't know if it's worth it. Obviously, the NSAA can, have another event. They, obviously, I'm not saying they're greedy or anything like that, but they're making money, on that, and it keeps more people at the tournament.
Yes, it does.
We'll probably turn around and maybe catch some of the other finals games. So I think that's the upside. I think the downside for me is, the kids play. Are they giving it their 100%?
Yep.
I sometimes worry when kids, injury wise.
Oh yeah.
That whole thing. So.
But it looks like to me, from what I heard, that they'll drop it. But
I've talked to very few people that really support it.
Not very many. even Doug Woodard from Bell West that one year was going to boycott it. And of course, he didn't. But
I think there's a feeling out there.
Yep.
And of course, the last thing then is, of course, Omaha Benson was able to. Their enormous drop it. The NSAA allowed them to stay in Class A.
That's a great victory.
And I think it's a victory for Benson and. It's a traditional Class A school, and that's where they want to compete, and, more power to them.
And I think really they thought maybe if they didn't allow them to go back up, they would lose more kids yet. because they would say, this isn't our environment. We're going to go play, well,
Yeah,
whoever they play. It's not in the metro,
Yeah,
though.
yeah. There's very few B metro schools.
No,
you
yeah,
just don't
yeah.
find them. So, I think that was a good decision.
I think it was a very good decision.
So that about wraps it up for basketball season. Always a pleasure, Bobby.
Yeah,
Lisa, thanks for all your work behind the camera. We appreciate that. Also, shout out to our friend Ashley Snyder down at Snap Fitness. It's been our sponsor all year.
And a shout out to our friend Dan Crystal, who was one of the greatest shots I ever saw. Dan always watches our show, so Dan,
Yep, and Dan's a great high school basketball fan.
yes, he is, and knows a lot about
See
it.
him at the tournaments all the time. So we will be, as soon as we're off the air, we're going to start preparing for End Zone Online,
Oh, yes.
which begins in August for high school football season.
Can't wait.
I can hardly keep this guy down when it comes to
Yeah.
that. So thanks for joining us each week on In the Hoop. We've enjoyed it, and we will see you in August for End Zone Online.
Visit Snap Fitness in Grand Island for all of your workout needs. State-of-the-art equipment and personal trainers will help you reach the exercise and health goals you have in mind. Located at 217 East Stolly Park Road in Grand Island.